Hey everybody, welcome to Neil Talks. My name's Neil, and it's time to talk more The Sandman. I think it's fair to say I am binging this show, which makes me so excited because I haven't properly binged a show since I started this channel. And this isn't the way I used to binge a show where I would watch all 5 seasons of The Wire in the span of a single week, or watch an entire Netflix release in a single sitting of 8 or 10 episodes. But I am watching this show quickly because I'm loving it so much. It brings back so much nostalgia. It blows my mind what a wonderful adaptation they're doing of bringing this cult but highly acclaimed comic book to the screen. They spared no expense. They found an amazing cast. Apparently it's doing incredibly well on Netflix, and I couldn't be happier for how this has all happened. And I was so worried about how this may go down. And so far, none of that seems to be coming to pass. So I'm elated. I'm having so much fun. There's changes that surprise me and delight me, and in my opinion, make the story even better. So I'm eager to jump into the next bit. But yeah, I'm binging it. I'm watching, like, normally I try not to get too far ahead of my editing. I try not to have too many reactions in the bank just waiting for the edit. It doesn't suit me psychologically having that much of a backlog sitting on my hard drive. So this is a little bit different, but this is like the third day in a row that I'm watching Sandman and recording reactions for it, and backlog be damned. I will get to the editing. I wish I could do the edits faster, I really do, but if you do the math, I'm reacting to 10 different shows every week on the channel right now, and because of that I've got a really regimented schedule just so that I can have my own peace of mind that I'm going to get everything done, and I can't just put it all aside to blitz through a single show. But nevertheless, I hope twice a week is enough. I hope that your patience is rewarded. I hope my patience is rewarded, and I'm ready to jump into this. We wrapped up our first major story arc in episode 5 when Dream reclaimed all his items of power. He ultimately reclaimed the ruby from John Dee and relieved Dee of that the control that the ruby was exerting on his life. I don't think John's long for this world. He was born in 1926, so he's like pushing 100, and it sounds like he lived a pretty hard life. So take the ruby away from him. I don't know if he'll waste away as quickly as his mother did, but nevertheless, I think we've seen the last of John Dee. But who we haven't seen the last of? The Corinthian, Desire. There's more machinations afoot. It appears that Desire's put together some plot against Dream. When Dream and Death were walking along in that lovely last episode 6, The Sound of Her Wings, we alluded to the fact that Desire views Dream as a personal sparring partner of sorts. This is where Desire gets their fun by messing with Dream, basically. And so I'll be curious to see and learn more about what that plan may be. Whether they were directly involved with Dream getting imprisoned or not, I don't see how, but who knows? Who knows? And then there's the Corinthian out there. There are a lot of dreams and nightmares roaming the waking world, we can assume, and Dream needs to bring all of them back to the dreaming now. So that's going to be a very, I think that's going to be the driving force through this next arc, which is called The Doll's House, which is the second trade paperback that got released from the comics. So issues 9 through 16, I believe. So far, my favorite episode of the show was the last one. It was kind of a 2-for-1 story. First half of it was just Dream and Death talking about their responsibilities, about humanity, about their purpose and their function, regaining some perspective, perhaps. And then the second half was this great time jumping story where we first meet Hob Gadling back in 1389, and he says, "Death is a mug's game, I choose not to die," and Death grants him that wish, and Dream says he'll meet Hob every 100 years here in the White Horse Tavern, and that's exactly what they do. And it's the birth of a very interesting friendship with some really fun nuggets along the way, whether it's William Shakespeare or Lady Joanna Constantine or Jack the Ripper or Dream being imprisoned for their 1989 rendezvous. So anyway, I had so much fun with that last episode. I'm super curious to see what they do with this next one. This is episode 7, and it's called The Doll's House. Oh, there's a book called The Corinthian. Oh, and one called Rose Walker. We've met her, too.
Thanks, buddy. We can't leave him.
I'm not going with you.
Not this trip, sweetie.
Dad promised. He's just doing this out of spite.
You take Jed without your dad's permission.
Rose! Rose!
It's okay.
He's managed to free himself.
Has he not suffered enough these last 100 years?
Oh, you would think so, but he's just as smug and self-important as ever. It's time that he learned that dreams are merely echoes of desire and despair. Nada was a mistake. Roderick Burgess was a diversion. But things have changed, my love.
Well, so they're connecting desire with Nada right now. That's awesome.
There's a dream vortex. Rose Walker.
Rose! Lida, we have to go. I don't think I can. How can I leave the country when I have no money, no job?
Listen to per diem is £250 a day in cash for 7 days in exchange for one family history interview.
That's a job.
It does get easier, right? You don't still think about Hector every second of every day, do you?
That's Lida. Okay.
Because as my husband and your mom would tell us, life is too short not to enjoy business class.
We're mixing things up. I have no idea what's going to happen here, and I love it.
Something unspeakably nasty in the basement.
Something nasty in the basement?
I just try not to go down there. Does Lord Morpheus know about the Vortex?
I can assure you, Lord Morpheus has better things to do than listen to foolish rumors.
She hasn't been sleeping?
No. She's been dealing with her mom's estate.
How are you? Are you okay?
Who's this guy?
Probably not. I'm on a plane to London, talking to my dead husband.
Oh. That's Hector. So she's lost her husband. Oh.
I have
The palace is looking better.
3 of the major Arcana are gone. The first is Gold, a nightmare who, I must say, I never trusted.
She is a shape changer. It is not in her nature to be trustworthy.
The Corinthian.
A shape changer.
I assumed as much.
The last is Fiddler's Green.
That is passing strange.
There are rumors of a vortex.
There is a vortex. A true amulet.
Then you must hunt for it, sir. It must be controlled.
Sooner or later, she will draw the stray dreams to her.
Perhaps one of us should surveil her in the waking world.
I could go.
And what you see, I too will see.
Rose? Wake up.
Miss Walker.
Hi,
That's
I'm
not
Rose.
Fonnie Rigg.
I'm Lida Hall.
This is a private care home for the elderly. My client is a resident.
Do you know what an annulet is?
A what?
An annulet?
It's a kind of ring, I believe. Old word.
My name is Unity Kincaid.
So how recently did Unity wake up? Her
It looks
dollhouse.
brand new.
It might as well be. Encephalitis lethargica.
Rise and shine, Dormouse.
I fell asleep
For over
Unity?
100 years. So she's like
until 8
118.
months ago, while I was asleep in hospital. I had a baby girl. I'm your great-grandmother, Rose.
She's got family again. But she must be like, yeah, pushing 120.
It falls to us to come up with a suitable replacement for the family man. So we need a new guest of honor.
Who's the one person we'd all pay to see?
The Corinthian.
Yeah. How old do you think he is? The waiter.
17. Too old for you.
He looks younger. Are you suggesting we copycat the Corinthian?
Might be fun.
We have a code.
We also have over 100 serial killers coming to this thing.
Actors, please. Do you think the Corinthian has a type?
Well, you're not Rose Walker.
No, I'm Carl.
Yeah, how long do you think she'll be away?
A week? You're welcome to wait.
If someone was out there taking credit for my work, I'd find them and I'd make sure they never did it again.
That's another good reason not to do it.
We are sending a message to the Corinthian.
We have to go.
And the waiter isn't coming back.
You are at a crossroads, Rose Walker.
The
How do
fates.
you know my name?
The 3-in-1. The Hecate.
Names. You wouldn't want to meet us as the kindly ones. Beware dreams and houses. We could have warned you against the Corinthian, told you about Jed and about Morpheus.
We had years together.
But it's never enough years, though, is it? What if I employ you to locate my great-grandson?
Unity.
Don't worry. My parents gave me this a long time ago.
The amulet?
It's yours now. It's a gold amulet. May all our dreams come true.
Best house sitting gig I've ever had.
I don't feel like this guy's got long. Did he not take his glasses off? Yeah. Yeah, she was friends with Judy.
I think with Rose at my side, I could put my boss out of business.
Something wrong?
Yeah, gotta get to work.
One more round? Maybe this time without the dark glasses.
Let him go, man. Let him go.
Should ask Rose to call me.
You don't know how lucky you got, man. You do not know how lucky you got.
Is it true?
Yeah, Murph.
Yes.
Murph
the plans for the new
Pumpkinhead.
Celestarium have been approved.
I'm not
Voiced
here
by
to
Mark
talk
Hamill.
construction. I'm here to talk about the Vortex. He's sending the new kid?
Why not?
You've been here for 5 minutes. Any unusual behavior?
Said the pumpkin to the talking bird. Can you be a little more specific?
Now, about the new Celestarium.
Oh, I love the optical illusions of this. This is so good. Ah! And he's out in the sky. Are we in London or Florida? Okay.
I may have told Rose my life story.
I definitely told Hal mine.
Hey, are you Rose and Lida?
Hi.
Hi, I'm Ken.
I'm Barbie.
It's terrible.
We know.
And good luck today with the foster lady.
Thank you.
I may have told them your life story as well, but it's just to spread the word about your brother. It's not because we were gossiping.
We were sorry to hear about your mother's death.
Chantal and Zelda live upstairs across the hall from you.
This
we
is
possess
so
the largest
faithful.
collection of stuffed spiders in private hands on the eastern seaboard.
I love it. I love it.
They're really very sweet.
Are they...
The spider
Sisters,
collectors.
mother, daughter, lovers, nobody knows. But I feel knowing would somehow ruin it. No secrets in this house. We're just one big,
Definitely.
odd, happy family.
Not the House of Secrets, that's for
Don't
sure.
be. Family's already here.
Ah, there he is.
You have no legal claim to him.
Could you just be a fucking human being for a second? Please?
If I tell you where your brother is, then what? What do you do when he says, I don't want to live with these people, I want to live with you? Are you prepared to raise a 12-year-old boy by yourself?
Valid questions, but
If it helps,
it's cruel to hear.
Jed's fosters were friends of your dad's.
We're taking you out.
Right now?
Absolutely.
But shouldn't we wait for Hal?
Hal's already there.
Dream about you, baby. It's gonna come true, baby. Honey, everything's coming out roses. Turning up, light the lights. You got nothing to hit
What a
but
performer.
the heights. I can tell just for me and for you.
Hello?
And a girl like you shouldn't be alone.
Gentlemen, seems to me that this young lady is desirous of retaining her jewelry and her honor.
Stephen Fry.
Thank you for your help.
You didn't need my help. You were doing quite well on your own. The name's Gilbert, by the way.
Are you the Gilbert who lives in Hal's attic?
The very same. Well, let's get you home then, shall we?
Love Gilbert.
What were you reading?
Chesterton. Do you?
His design is actually based on Chesterton, the writer. The look and everything.
Jed Walker is missing.
Well, Rose can't find him.
I can't find him either. He's missing from the dreaming.
So he's not having dreams?
3. Though I consider mine to be more of an homage.
They are the window to the soul.
And they're really hard to get out without popping them.
The trick is to use your thumbs.
We would, like you to be our guest at our annual gathering of collectors.
I love that it's just sitting out on the table like that.
You might deliver the keynote speech.
Thank you. Well, that's quite an honor. Wonder if I might bring a guest. They call her the Vortex.
Oh no. Corinthians going for Rose.
The last nightmare Jed Walker had before he disappeared was of Galt.
You think she severed him from the dreaming?
He's Rose Walker's brother.
Excuse me.
Siblings, brothers and
I am
sisters.
Rose Walker.
She just dreamed herself into
What
the
do you
dreaming.
know about my brother, Jed?
I ran away. Why? What happened? Uncle Barnaby said he's gonna lock me in the cellar. We have to get away from him, both of us, right now.
Galt's a shapeshifter. A shape changer. Barnaby?
I found Jed. I was just gonna bring him home.
Jed's coming home with me. Are you, Jed?
Was that real or was that a dream? Oh, that was a surreal episode for two very different ways. I mean, we're introducing a bunch of new concepts. We're getting to know, first of all, we've teased meeting. We met Rose very briefly on the phone with Judy back in 24/7. She was one of Judy's friends. But now we get to know a lot more about her family situation, and we connect her to Unity Kincaid, who fell asleep in 1916 and didn't wake up until Dream got free 8 months ago. So Unity's like, yeah, pushing 120. But aside from that, she's looking great. And Rose is her great-granddaughter. And Rose is all alone, trying to find her younger brother, Jed, who is in the foster care system with friends of her father's, who, Barnaby and Clarice. Barnaby seems to be an animal, just a horrible person. But I wonder, maybe that was real, maybe it wasn't. The interesting thing about this show is we're starting to get to the point where we're questioning every scene we see in the real world, the waking world, and going, is that a dream? Is that real? Is that not? You know, Lyda had a dream that felt real on the plane. Rose is dreaming all sorts of crazy things. She just inserted herself into the dreaming, the meeting between Lucienne and Dream and Matthew. and she's a Vortex. And we don't really know what that means yet. We just know that she seems to be a very rare occurrence in the dreaming that pulls a lot of other dreams towards her, and that could undo the dreaming itself if it goes unchecked, perhaps. But what it all means, it's tough to say. And yeah, it really feels like the start of a new season. So many new characters. Rose and Lyta Hall. We get all the residents of Hal's B&B down in Florida, completely faithful to the comic book. But Lyta, well, from the comic, is not fulfilling the role here that she does in the comics. It's interesting because Rose takes the trip to London with her mother in the comic. Her mom's still alive, but she's still the one searching for Jed. It's interesting, like a lot of this, like the names feel familiar and the general story feels familiar, but the way it's progressing seems completely new to me, and it's got this sort of weird kind of deja vu-y, kind of dreamlike feel because of it, because there's a bunch of familiarity and yet it feels completely unfamiliar. If that makes sense. I'm probably just rambling here. But I feel like it's a great setup for the back half of the season. I feel like I just want to know more. Great reveal of Gilbert, Stephen Fry. I mean, who doesn't love Stephen Fry? If you guys haven't checked out any of my QI reactions, I know I kind of have two completely different audiences on this channel. I have the one that watches me watch British panel shows, and there's one that watches me watch North American TV. And yeah, there's definitely some crossover, but those of you who are watching this probably haven't seen my QI reactions. Check out my QI reactions. Stephen Fry's the host. You recognize him from all sorts of things over the years, and he's fabulous, and he's perfect casting for Gilbert. Yeah, so Gilbert is based on the author G.K. Chesterton in look and attitude and all the rest of it, and yeah, Fry just embodies all of that. Super happy. Matthew is basically spying on Rose, for lack of a better word, trying to gather more info. We got introduced to Merv Pumpkinhead, voiced by Mark Hamill. If he sounds a little bit like Joker from the animated series, that's why. Mark Hamill. One of the things I love about the Sandman is the early episodes are peppered with so many nascent storylines that don't take off until much later in the series. So that Neil Gaiman really kind of knew what he was doing when he was plotting everything out, and he planted seeds with things as diverse as who the prodigal Endless is, and Nada, Shakespeare, and Lady Joanna Constantine's mystery mission for Dream. All these little references that happen early, and we don't get to those stories until later, but those stories are coming, and Sandman is so full of stories, and stories within stories. If we have the good fortune of this show lasting for a handful of seasons, we're going to get, and it replicates the comics, because who knows, but there's points in the comics where it's literally Neil Gaiman telling a story about someone else telling a story about someone else telling a story, and it's nested 6 stories deep. I'm not exaggerating. There's at least one point in the comic where we are that deep within stories, about people telling stories, about people telling stories, about people telling stories. And it's just so much fun. Like I said in a previous reaction, this show, as much as it is about dream and family, siblings in particular, it's also about the power of story. And I'm just kind of reveling in it. I know I'm geeking out. I know I'm just a massive fanboy for this show, but I love it, and I'm so thrilled that Gaiman and Goyer and the rest of the team and Netflix did this right. It's so gratifying. It's such a relief. It's so much fun. It's everything I could have dreamed it would be. And what excites me more than anything is that I hear the numbers are good. I hear that it's getting a big audience, which means there's probably more seasons to come. And the story, it gets so rich and so involved and so lovely that I really hope we get the full run of the Sandman on TV. It might take 4 or 5 seasons, maybe even a smidge more, but man, would it be amazing if it did. I cross my fingers. Things that surprised me in this episode. We met another one of the Endless very early on when Desire called for Despair. They're twins, and if you're gonna divide the Endless, there's the first 3. Destiny, Death, and Dream. They're the older siblings. And then there's the bottom, the youngest 3. Desire, Despair, and Delirium, who we haven't met yet. And they're kind of the kids of the family, and they're the ones that are often meddling in the affairs of others. Destiny and Death and Dream take their jobs seriously, and the other 3 not so much necessarily. But Desire in particular really has it in for Dream, because she feels like her realm is more important than his, but Dream acts the other way. It's petty stuff, it's family stuff, it's siblings. But so much of this show is about siblings, whether it's Cain and Abel, or it's Rose and Jed, or it's the Endless. It's about every kind of relationship that happens between brothers and sisters. And it's a really interesting exploration in that regard. There's so many things you can get out of this story, and I'm excited for the next one. I'm getting melancholy already because I realize there's only 3 episodes left, and there's so much more story to be told, and I'll have to wait at least a year for more of it, and that's okay. But long waits suck. But I'm running out of new Sandman. And that's what this is to me. This is new Sandman. This is different from the comics. And as much as there is familiarity, and as much as there are moments that are lifted straight from the comic, there's enough that's different that I just don't know what's going to happen next. And I really appreciate that. And I put the question to those of you who know the comic as well. How do you feel about it? Because I'm excited by it. I like the fact that it's different. That maybe, just maybe, Neil Gaiman in the 30 years between when he wrote this and now may have figured out a few more things about how to be a great writer and tweak things to make them better. I mean, that's certainly possible. As much of a masterwork that the Sandman is, it's possible to improve. Maybe he's had some thoughts over the intervening 3 decades about things he could change, and especially given the opportunity to adapt. So I'm super excited to see what happens next. Rose just met Dream. The possibilities are endless. So we'll see you again in a few days for episode 8. Until then, everybody, take care, stay healthy. We'll see you soon. Cheers.